I work with so many businesses, so many individuals, so many families on that avenue across the country, internationally. And the fact of the matter is, learning that side of being at facilities and knowing how to do that. And the fact of the matter is, when I was young, I made so many mistakes myself. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, a mistake was made. But the fact of the matter, people not owning up and saying, hey, my bad. Now, how can I get better at that?
Right.
That's all that people are really asking for when it comes to knowing that we want to move forward and improve things. And the fact of the matter that people who can't do that, well, that's a character check right there. But you know what? What I like about it is I have my way. You know what I'm saying. If somebody doesn't want to just open up and admit it or something, well, then there's a nice way to go ahead and handle that and help them socially and emotionally open up and say, hey, let's get better here.
Yes.
But that's on them. But I want to see everybody get better, and that's the most important thing. Never want any intent or harm, but only intent to get better. The first number thing is making sure everything's safe. And you look at the fans and everything, and you look at everything that's taking place on there, doing it the right way. And you know what? From my research, I'm finding out that 90% of the individuals out there are not doing it the right way. And it scares the hell out of me on how horrible people are at taking care of their community, their schools, at the same time, their athletic, events. And, you have people that are supposed to be monitoring it, and what are they doing? Nothing.
Count money.
Yeah, well, no, they're doing worse things than that. They'll get involved in things that they shouldn't be involved in.
Culture beats talent if your culture is really strong. Culture is organic. It is not a sign up in your building. It's not a t-shirt you wear. It's not breaking the team down and saying, hey, culture on 3. I can't just say those things. We have to live those things, because who you are some of the time is who you are all of the time. If you want to be a disciplined football team when you take the field, you have to be disciplined when you're off the field. How are we in school? How are we in community service? All of it all adds up to that becomes your culture, because that is who you are. That's how we go about everyday life.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and enjoy the week. Relaxing, getting a massage. That's what I look at Christmas. Relax. Coaches need massages.
Oh, sure.
To go along with that, eat some ice cream. That's what I say.
Well, you might want a massage. I know I need a razor.
Gosh, I need a haircut. Being sick for the past 3 weeks, I definitely need a haircut and find some energy. But I will find some energy. So let's talk a little bit on regards on continuing what we talked about last week. We talked about looking at Project 3 in all 3 communities. We talked about the factor of safety on how that's valuable. And evaluating in the past 5 years, all 3 communities and handling, safety issues. And, I want to commend, before we talk about Project 3, on how Rocky River in the high school playoffs for football did a great job with Mansfield on administration of both sides through OSHA. Of course, it was naturally reported to OSHA the right way through compliance. And they took care of an issue to create safety, but even more so understanding the compliance steps, that whenever anything is reported, it's very, very important to take care of things the right way, and how both of those communities and those schools and those administrators handled it was definitely the right way. And I commend them as I evaluate so many places on how they do things.
It was the proper way to handle it. It's definitely hard being an outsider looking in. As a parent, especially my son now turning 13, might be his last high school game ever.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, the kids played the game. They were safe. The coaches were safe.
Sure.
That's the main concern, is making sure our sons or daughters come home.
Sure.
So, definitely tough, but I think it was definitely the right call.
Wait, if there's at any time if there's a reported issue that takes place of anything not safe, a threat to anybody, that's when you have to take those steps.
Exactly.
And those protocol. And the fact of the matter is, we're going to talk about this in the future, that there's so many communities that do not take it serious or make a mockery of it.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, going on looking at Project 3 and the 3 communities that we look at, the very positive thing that Garfield Heights, Dale, of course, was at the time, 2 seasons ago, was the athletic director over there, and Dale was just awesome. He's now at Avon Lake. Dale does a great job being an administrator. He's been around for quite some time. And he took a simple situation, I don't like to say it like that, but it is, of a gunshot at a high school football game. And how that transferred to the next day of going ahead and saying, hey, the next day, with that situation, how are we going to handle school? Administrators, OSHA, have to all come into place. How do we handle future home football games?
I mean, at this day and age, it's hard to know right from wrong. I mean, just that bomb threat a couple weeks ago,
Sure.
last week or something.
Lorraine County, yeah.
You're right, and it's just like you have to take those proper precautions. As much as we want our kids at school to learn, you don't know this day and age what is actually going to happen. I mean,
Sure.
there's been too much tragedy
Sure.
at schools than there is, and like you said, they took the right steps. Great thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
It's very easy to just say, hey, we didn't handle it right, but here's what we're going to do in the future. And we admit we're wrong, but let's learn from those mistakes. And that's the whole title of what we want to do. Every time we talk about, how do we handle things or what do we title things, learning from mistakes, understanding safety and compliance, understanding the truth of things is giant. That allows success to be moved forward. And now everybody's learning from that. And that's why we do what we do. That's also at the same time while things are being researched, that's why people are learning from research. And it really interests me to see that some communities are honestly not actually taking it sincere and looking on how they can make things better and looking at admitting their mistakes and saying we can do better. One thing that I think is awesome, and looking at the city of Bay Village, on how their athletic director, their administrators are terrific, on what they do and looking at them in so many different ways. But they say, okay, we had this situation, we're going to make sure that we grow from it, and they do a fabulous job on the athletic side and in school and the education side, from the top down through the whole community, all making sure that they enhance the safety step by step by step.
It's like the old saying, a village will make a person better. It's not a parent, it's not one coach. It takes a big group, it takes a community. And
Sure.
these schools that are using the whole resources of their community, and you see that growth, and it's a great thing.
Sure.
Especially some of these older cities where it was mostly populated. If you notice, there's report cards are going down a little bit.
Sure,
But
sure.
they're not using the whole community. They lost the community, but these schools that are growing and growing rapidly
Sure.
are using the whole community, and like you say, Avon Lake, the Sheffields,
Right.
you see the great growth that they're giving you.
Sure. What's valuable too as well is being able to, I'm going to go back to that, understanding what the truth is. And then from there, being able to say, okay, this is what we're going to do to fix it. This is what we're going to do to grow, enhance, and take care of business in that fashion. Now let's talk a little bit about scholarships, that we've been working on. And I think I want to report that I had an opportunity 2 nights ago. I believe it was 2 nights ago. Sometimes it's a blur, for all of us.
Monday night.
Monday night, thank you. To sit down with Matt Zimick, to sit down with Rob Treves for the Trevor Walsh Scholarship that's going to be taking place in Bay Village. And I want to say this again and again, what Matt Zimick has done, him and his team, is amazing. But, they had a chance to connect with College Now and have that, connection with the Cleveland Foundation and looking, what they do and everything else. They had a chance to connect with Bay Village. But they are now, as their team, putting step-by-step together on how they're going to do it to create that $1,000, $2,000 scholarship every year for their criteria, their mission, their plan that they have, and how their team works diligently on it. And what I want to say is, not just the community, but how much everybody has came around in regards to support that, just because it's amazing on what they're doing, and it's a great factor, So Bay Village is having that. As we talked last time, I had a chance to talk to
Year's coming up.
Lorraine Community Foundation with my father. Yeah, there was a lot of interference, but I've taken care of that in my way, and we've also had a chance to be taking care of that in a new way. That's going to be out there. It's going to be taking steps, and it will be out there for a yearly scholarship and starting the funding process for that scholarship in my father's name for North Ridgeville High School, because you know what? There was quite a few individuals through interference that, you know what, their scholarships could have already been taken care of. But guess what? That's a whole another issue, but we're going to take care of that in a snap here real quick.
At the same time, that's sad. I mean, if you're trying to help a community out, what you're doing with your father's scholarship, not only students, but student athletes need that help.
Sure.
Especially, not everybody's able to dish out $30,000 a year.
Sure.
I mean, you're doing a great thing. Sometimes parents, families, take that step back. See somebody being helpful, and instead of trying to go against the grain, help it. Don't go against the grain, help. That's what we're supposed to be about, respect.
But to go along with that, you know, let's talk about the growth of a real elementary and middle school opportunity that is creating the educational process for families, community, and students to understand and learn about jobs. I mean, that's what we're really doing, teaching them about jobs in life. To understand college and college recruiting, that's what we're doing. Scholarships, which is what we're doing, what every community that we're evaluating, every community on. But even more so, the really large new development process that we're going to be talking about here from all of our research that we've done in the past 5 years. And you know what? I cannot give so much credit to Gary Lang, the principal. He, through Excel Schools, he actually goes from school to school that Dr. Carr has him doing. And he goes through to all these schools and develops this sports academy. And then all of a sudden develops so many amazing, you know, I guess you could say philosophies. But to go along with that, the academia and the athletic opportunity that is being enhanced in these young kids in Lorain County is amazing. So, you know, at his school, and you know, I was hoping to have him talk earlier. He's not able to talk earlier, but you know, there's actually at the same time, him and I has put together an entire elementary league that's hosted around this as well. This school.
That's awesome.
But we're talking about you know, Sheffield Sports Academy, right there in Sheffield Lake, and you know, very much in tune and connected to Brookside schools.
Okay.
And it's the feeder for their high school, and along with their elementary schools as well. But we practice at that type of school during the day. Can you imagine dropping off your kid, not having to worry about picking them up and taking them to practice, because they already had 2 hours of practice that took place.
And then their academics.
And their academics. Their scores were 80 on the academia side.
Oh, hang on. What you're saying is something new to the United States. Well, it's not really new to the United States because actually
Yep.
one of our sister, however you say it,
Sure.
Puerto Rico already has these already installed.
For years, I've gone down there and seen them, recruited from them down there, and on the baseball side. And to go along with that, the Dominican Republic and Cuba both do it in multiple sports. And through Major League Baseball, they are funded in the Dominican Republic through Major League Baseball, which, as you know, I go down there every few months
Oh, yeah.
and have those opportunities of, you know, working together.
What Gary is doing, he's providing that opportunity. Not only baseball, which
Sure.
well, we talk about
Sure.
a lot because but it's sports for everybody.
Right.
So
And the greatest thing about this is how the kids, the families, are having the opportunity through social emotional growth. You know, what is a better surrounding besides through in your community, but through in a school to be able to say, this is how you act socially and emotionally. And guess what? You know what? You didn't get it done on the field today. You didn't get it done on the court. You know what? This is what takes place. Go ahead and run. You know what? Figure it out. Guess what? No practice tomorrow. Back to class. Everybody else is on the court.
and you learn what teamwork is. You learn
Absolutely.
how to work with other people, which a lot of times it doesn't take place in schools. Although I do know a lot of great teachers.
Sure, absolutely.
But that
Absolutely.
teamwork, that working together like you do at a job, that's
Sure.
what these young kids are learning.
You know what? Let's talk about the sports that are taking place there. Yes, cheerleading. It is a big desire in that school. Competitive cheerleading.
Competitive cheerleading is getting bigger and bigger around here. Same with the dance.
Sure, and dance. The other thing, you know, I like that halftime show in basketball and so forth. You know, has to be around the dance team. No other way to say it. You know, have that hype team out there, rock and roll. You know, get it done. on there. And then looking at the springtime, transitioning, that's where the competitive chair is going to be during that time, so we can separate the dance and chair. But we have baseball and track.
That's awesome.
So and the basketball that's taking place in a few weeks. It's really unique because the middle schoolers from that organization and that school, because the school was set up for K to grade 6, and then in the future to grade 7, and then grow year by year.
Okay.
But what's really awesome is seeing the middle schoolers now in with Constellation schools, which I developed that league as well as all the athletic programs at every single school. I know I'm dating myself here, but back in 2001, when I was coaching college ball at the same time at Oberlin College, I was coaching college football and baseball, and connected with Constellation schools back then. But it's great to see now Excel schools uniting as one united conference, and the elementary factors that they're all putting together as Greater Cleveland, Ohio, Greater Cleveland, Ohio, elementary athletic conference. So all that coming together as one. I can't give enough of credit to what Gary Lane has done, and it is just fabulous on how he has put everything together for the future of these families, but even more so for the future development of a student athlete that now can look at a future for scholarship, jobs, maybe even military. And the opportunity that, what mom and dad knows that in school, during those school hours, we get it all done.
If you were able to let words run you off, you ain't for us, because we're old school staff. We coach hard, we coach tough, we're disciplinarians. So if you're allowing verbiage to run you off because you don't feel secure with your ability, you ain't for us.
If some kid said, you know what, no, I'm staying. You're not going to run me off with your words.
Right, stay.
So
prove it.
I'm sure that your straight talk was appreciated by some, but is this scorched earth policy good for college football or for the kids?
I think truth is good for kids.
All right, well, you know what? As we're done today, I think it's very important to watch the clippings that our video analysis and our producer puts in when it comes to what we're talking about in regards to looking at not just recruiting, because you know what? It's so important. College coaches, pro scouts, they don't care what you do on the field. They really care what you do before you're on the field and what you do when nobody thinks you're looking.
Longtime scout with the Chicago Bulls. And in 2007, he sent me a text and asked if I wanted to go watch the Syracuse versus Georgetown game, because Georgetown's right in my backyard. And he texted me and he said, Alan, will you meet me at the arena at 4? And I was confused because tip-off was at 7. He said, I need to watch the players when they don't think anyone is watching. And he took more notes during the 3 hours before tip-off on his yellow legal pad than he took when the game actually started.
What I'm watching is the things that I'm talking about. Like, I want to recruit good teammates. I want to recruit the kid that will pass up an open shot for a great shot. I want to recruit the kid that'll sprint down the floor to get back on defense.
All right, thanks for catching up with us, and happy holidays,
Thank
everyone.
you, guys. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, enjoy the family time.